Yeah, we should take it right now. Where are the cookies?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Oh. Also my name is right next to you.
My place. Maybe better. Maybe 8. Oh, what about
If I know, next like.
Bye.
Hi.
How's it going?
Quick question for you.
Yeah.
There wasn't a password required, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's how I set it up. So someone was
Okay.
texting me saying that there was a password required, so I think they may have got it the wrong way.
No, I got right in.
Okay, great.
So I'm asking to take pictures if you don't mind. Do you mind? We took our people here. And they're fabulous looking.
I don't know. I didn't notice those pictures being taken.
I know, it was interesting. Ada has an article. That's right, our walk, right?
Yes, yeah. At, yeah, tomorrow. No, it's Friday the 3rd. Friday the 3rd, okay.
Friday the 3rd, I am curating a show that opens at Chandler down in Randolph called Tennessee. It's all identified Zsters.
Friday the 3rd.
Yeah.
Ladies are like.
They will. They will. Yes.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if the weather is nice, we'll try to make all the rounds.
Yeah. And it's gonna be from like 6 to 9 in our
Ours started at 4. And, my stuff will be up before that, and it will be up for a while after, so. Cool. I said, should you have any leisure, you could do it, you can see it at your leisure if you have any.
So we'll come to your opening if we can get to read it.
Yeah.
And we'll try to remind us.
They'll definitely be PBR. I know that. And some interesting queer things.
And where's Monica's in it? Oh, she's at Monica's at the. Antique place. Rebel Heart, yeah. So you're gonna be a student cake before.
Yes, I will, myself. Yeah. I hung half of it, so you can go see the bigger pieces already.
In the back?
No, in the main room. There's above the windows, there's like pretty large spaces, might look.
Great.
I know I have stuff at J9 and stuff.
I love that.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
I think you know. Tell people.
Sure.
Did anybody hear that? No.
Everybody's got an art show or every part on the 3rd. Thank you.
If I pronounce it, you are ignoring it.
Thank you. Okay, that's it. Well, thank you.
They do. Yeah. David Zimet is more or less a lifelong artist, coming of age in the theater world, adding a number of interdisciplinary years in the study of fine and performing arts. She has 2 books published, Lucy Dancer, an illustrated children's book, and The Lost Grip. Oh, a Pushcart Prize nominee. Her poetry can also be found in various journals along with her illustrations. Her retrospective justice work and all other aspects of her life benefit from the training and practice of Argentine tango. Born in New York, she now lives in Vermont, US. Yeah.
So I chose, I do a lot of short form poetry, so these are for me extremely long. They're like, this is the longest I've ever written a poem. Um, I chose a few kind of irreverent ones. My short form poetry is also kind of irreverent.
Yay.
Yeah. And in fact, as I was putting together a little pile of things to bring tonight, I thought I'd call a burgeoning collection of these poems, the resistance poems. So in one way or another, they're about resistance. So, that is working. Are you experiencing symptoms of depression, suicidal ideation, or are you contemplating impermanence and death as part of your Dharma practice? Who are the screeners and what are their qualifications? Since when have you been experiencing loss, grief, trauma, panic, or general discomfort? We have a prescription for that. Side effects may include loss, grief, trauma, panic, and general discomfort. Since when have you experienced adverse effects from self-expression? Have you ever experienced kindness, love, and compassion without negative consequences? If you answered yes, can you fill out this brief survey? We will not share your personal data. If you answered no, it was not kindness, love, or compassion. Who are the screeners and what are their qualifications? Let me give you an idea of how long you have to this is shorter. So tune in. This one has no title. Missing from the instructions is order in which it was received and order of operations. You got time to play with that? You're all set. Mud. We're not in mud season yet. Mud. Mud. I'm more the mud type. The primordial spunk. Made of star stuff. Oops, spilled the water. Got wet. Boom, little bits of things met. And melded and got so excited. Stuff just burst from the seams. Seams. Deep seams. Now that's rich. The way concrete sets is just not me. Did I drop that ball? Or is it the moon sinking through the pines? Sinking, that's both ways, S-Y-N-C-H and also. Did I drop that ball or is it the moon sinking through the pines? Highway driving, steering with my knees. Don't worry, stop. Yes, I'm watching the road. Curious rhythm of light leads from the dashboard. Latest sacred mistake. bouncing there to the west where I dropped it? Or is it the moon? Will my heart always be this full of sorrow? And I hope so, because what is sorrow without joy? Little change of pace here. Fit model. Does anybody know what a fit model is? Okay, I'll explain for the people who don't. A fit model is a real life person, most of the time, who brand X or brand Y hires because they think it's their ideal size 8 or size 10. That is their fit model size 10. And they come in all sizes, but not always all shapes. So this is called fit model. Pressing spirits into perfect ass jeans. Fit model Trey, signed with brand X, not Trey's fault. Fit model Goldie, signed by brand Y, not Goldie's fault. My ass is Mama Bear. My friends are Poppy Bear, Baby Bear, unicorns, cougars. We are fresh salmon roe, put us in your mouth. We are chicken, stud, fox, swan. We are witches with brooms, bottoms and tops, coots, crows, old and hatchlings, waving at the fit models, even inviting them out. Motorboard is my new ringtone, but my friend can't hear it. His legs are sturdy, but he can't hear it, the ringtone. The stressed motor. I can. It's me. For others, it goes unnoticed, just a background grind. And there and then I discover that I've led my life as a drag race with the emergency brake on all along. Suddenly I get a text from family with a fire to put out, and it's brilliant. The brake lifted. I coast and float. And is this Bardo? And can I live like this? This one's called Buenos Aires. Doing nothing in a new city, doing nothing while traveling. Head down, face up on the pillow, listening to motors and new voices passing the window. Lo que pase, te dejo, tienes que. Wandering, the little cats at every fruit stand. I love them, and they love me back. Hurdling bus drivers, adding water to their mate, checking their phones, scant clearance to each side, not a hair disturbed. They are also champions. So maybe I should call this Buenos Aires 2022 because it was the Mundial and Argentina won. It was a big deal. All right. Yeah, two more taking different vibes. So it's called party pronouns. Oh, I should be. I don't know how much of a personal anecdote to tell you about this. In my work, I was asked to to help promote the diversity, equity, inclusion side of things. And it's like, oh, I don't even know where to start with these people. But I'm trying. So we had a meeting recently, and one person was talking about caseload. And they mentioned a person, it was very challenging because this person was into, and I quote the person, into this weird polyamory thing. And what I debriefed it, actually with my kids who are like, a little more on top of things. And they suggested that I didn't know what to say at that moment. It was an opportunity for me to say something. I didn't know what to say, so I didn't say anything. But I will have the opportunity to say something, and my kids suggested I use the language that they were othering themselves to create distance between themselves and these weird polyamorists. So I thought that was a nice language, othering themselves. Any nods on that, or any help you can give me after? I'd appreciate it. Okay, so this poem is called Party Pronouns. This is not a poem. The actual poem will bloom on its own elsewhere. And here, this now is a map view where a poem might rise. So if I say, I love you, see what arises. Then I love her. What happens? If I love him, blossoms. Then bursts of blossoms, bursts of blooms. Not supposed to repeat a word. Bursts of blooms. Party pronouns. Okay, last one. Whoever's next should start with an uplifting poem.
You're very screwed. I apologize. It is going to be a long form drag through the mud.
Oh no. Okay, so this will be a good segue then.
Great.
Okay, you wanna kind of a dive down segue, or?
Sure.
Okay, this one's called Not Even Close. I can't seem to touch the hunger, that's all. Like that time the nerve pain was so bad, and the doctors could not numb the nerve. Nothing could touch the pain. Pain ruled. Hunger rules. Okay, maybe I could talk myself through this, because even food does not touch this hunger. Sex does not touch this hunger. Although for a minute it's close. More like a thrilling distraction. Hunger. I was talking about hunger, see? It's back.
Thank
Jordon Turk is a writer, performer, and multi-model maker, exploring intersections of language and bodies. Working out of renovated barn space in central Vermont, she produces work across boundaries of material, platforms, and taste. Turk considers how bodies form, shift, and alter themselves, describing this process as a method of translating physicality, stitching together histories. She exposed the seams and scars of thought. From page to performance, subject to object, Jordon questions notions of authenticity, self, and the perception of realness. Her work has been exhibited in Chicago, New York, Utah, and throughout New England. Frequently, Turk projects take the form of installations accompanied by video works, performances, and artist work. Jordon's artist book Body, A Portrait in Progress, was acquired by Joan Flash Artist Book Collection, Chicago, Illinois.
You don't, yeah, I wrote it, you don't have to read it.
I did that once before, and I was really embarrassed, but I don't know. She is currently developing her newest collection of writing, Tidy Crimes, to accompany an exhibition at Chandler Gallery during their 2023 season. Jordon holds her MFA from the School of Art Institute of Chicago. Thank you.
I'm actually a funny person to follow you because I work almost exclusively in long form and I mean long form. So this is an excerpt, I might want to drink that. It's an excerpt from a project I've been kind of slowly starting to develop called We Teach the Body to Grieve. Okay. We teach the body how to grieve. It's durational, ongoing learning in our skin, deeper beneath even. Generationally, we pass it like it's a genetic viral infection inflicted. We experience and we continue to move through. Yet the body remembers, summons to the surface with each new loss. I was never really crying for you or my own loss. My body, however, holds it close. At night, I wrap myself up in the sadness and cry just to taste salt. You become bitter to remember. Touch me again, this time with meaning. You lay next to my body, immobilized by prescription bottles of painkillers and the incision that stretches from hip to hip. Kiss that spot on my neck you used to bite. We lose hours and all we have are moments of quiet heat. The night ends in cold embraces, my spine held still by your trembling fingers. It's become so tenuous. The kisses pass through pursed lips, and I'm not the type of person who can contain these feelings in the house you share with her. She is a specter who floats above our every flirtation. She visits our bed, obscuring any possibility for me to relax. Instead, I lay in repose, a cut-up corpse of scars and swallowed silences. Try to remember, I'm only a guest in your bed. She lives here. You cry on the phone, trying to pull away, all the while touching those tender bruises to watch me wince. I ask you, what are we now? Hoping to find words to soothe and settle my mind, which draws us downward, deeper into the cum-stained sheets of our makeshift bed. The sheets snap, sliding from the friction of our three figures crawling into each other. Can you fuck a ghost? A memory? A feeling? I leave to write down those things I can't speak while your tongue sucks the mix of blood and cum from my bruised cunt. I too need less. I too want rest. I too want to find our way back from the entangled touches and the tortured glances of two people trying to find their way into someone new. You hang up and I begin to scribble lines, look at text, realizing we've revived old traumas. And I tell you on the page that if it all goes wrong, I don't want to leave. but do not resuscitate me, just to remember. Breaking up. Can you feel me breaking? Can you feel me? I can't feel you breaking. I told you I couldn't write, that I was too comfortable in our relationship. And then 2 days later, you broke up with me. And I want to thank you for this hurt. I don't want to honor you in a breakup poem or indulge in longing for some alternative ending. I've done that too often. And with him. I'm stronger now. Stronger having allowed you to hurt me, if only to remember how easily I can heal. I've been healing for years. Yearning to unlearn, let go. I've had deeper cuts. My body carved and sewn. No emotional affliction can affect my body the way a scalpel does. This too will fade, and from it I'm not altered. I'm altered, but I'm not destroyed, not disfigured. I should have figured out sooner, but your softness blunted my resistance. Your desire dulled my defenses. I don't want to return to stone, return to the hardness I've harvested from all the failures. I want to cultivate the cure. I want to stay soft. I want to stay tender. I just want to be honest. I just want to heal. I'm the monster. I'm the problem. Or what if you saw yourself, saw me, could see what I would have done? I'd like to go back. I'd like to start over. This is not a confession. This is not real. Nothing feels real right now. You told me I just want everyone to wake up tomorrow and be better. I don't know what I want now. A path forward. What does repair make possible inside our relationship? I only ask because I've been trying to mend myself since you left, and I'm not finished, not better, not healed enough. No. I might never be. What does it mean to be finished? I know when I started this transition, I felt people saw me as needing to be taught, not having some sort of knowledge only women knew. I came to understand that I was not yet a woman enough, but starting. I assumed at some point I just know. I'd reach it and come into my own and become a woman. But I'm still becoming. Still unlearning. Still caught in a spiraling loop that circles back and always returns to him. You. When you died, he did. I did. So I never had to know or got to know if you would still like me. Still laugh at the dumb things I'd say, smoking cigs as we drove down roads my van I'd inherited from my grandfather couldn't handle. The ridges and the steep inclines of uneven dirt between my bed and yours. And it felt like those miles stretched, that every version of us could go on forever, listening to music as we drove, getting high in fields along the road, and how I lay down for you to take pictures of my naked body. She tells me to see the emptiness of my evenings now as potential, my body waiting to be refilled. My body is an archive I only see through your lens. Like a body isn't so much a thing as an accumulation of moments. I still have moments with you even now. Even after the breakup, after your suicide, after I've killed off those parts of you. Those parts of me you never saw. I think I tried to find you in the living. Fuck you again with their bodies, even if it's just an imitation of what I felt for you. When they left me too, I realized I was crying over losing you and not them. Grief is something the body learns, stores in itself till it feels it again. You're not dead any more than I am. I never believed we live on in memory. It's too easy to forget. You dropped the canister and it cracks, exposing the film till every moment together becomes washed away in white. Your body is always just 6 feet below mine, and I measure the distance on my back, fucking the space between. The outline of your absence. Trying to fuck you back from the dead. I think I'm addicted to it, this feeling. I think I want to stop re-performing the end though. Start something new. Be new. Or maybe with mending, the best I can hope for is something like new. Suicide note, poorly written, sure. Excuse me for being at a loss for language. In the end, it just wasn't strong enough. I've died before. What's one more? This time give it my all. They say the third time's the charm. I've decided to live so many times, I guess I thought dying might work better. I mean, as far as I can tell, it's permanent. Maybe the only thing that still is. Permanent, that is. Forgetting to, I guess. But I remember too much and I want to not be remembered at all, because in the end, it all matters so much less. I'm glad I felt. Glad I laughed. That I tried to be happy. I think at times I thought I was. Maybe I could still be, but I just don't see a way back. I'm tired. I'm just so tired. I guess I just want to rest in peace. Is that where the expression comes from? I think that's really what I want. Separate the plastic from the purpose of being. My tits. I'm talking about tits in a suicide note on brand. Give me back to the land. Burn me, bury me, eat me. Say whatever you have to, I get it. I wasn't easy. Though I had been. What comes next isn't easy. Not how I thought it'd go. I would go. I locked the door. I don't want people to interrupt me. Death should be solitary. I've honestly lived longer than I thought, longer than most. I've read and seen, touched and tasted. I just wanted more. I could never feel enough. Or was it I felt it all too intensely? See? I can't make sense anymore. Nothing does. I sought my whole life for something profoundly true. It doesn't exist. I'm tired of looking, seeking wildness and play. I felt joy, I think, and love, but I never really deserved it. My life was an act and I was the lousy actress. Even this is trite. Who will read this? See meaning in it. And when they die, who will remember then? I'm rambling. I'm too weak for what has to happen. I tried to burn myself just now with a cigarette. I couldn't hold it down for enough. I don't want to remember tonight. Soon enough I won't. 1/11/23. I don't know why there's such a familiarity between us meeting all these years later. We don't know these bodies, these words, these selves. 4 hours dissolves in conversation punctuated by long drags of the cigarettes you bummed from me. I think about kissing you. Think about running my fingers across those tender places you touch while I watch, as if daring me to find you there. Is that how you touch yourself? I ask my friends to show me, teach my body how to feel pleasure again after months of healing into her. After half a pack, I'm left longing and learning I've moved too quickly into this feeling. Like I had to be denied such intensity this early. I guess that's fair, because I still haven't touched you there. What does it mean that I noticed a shift in our dynamic through my emojis better than my emotions? Was our intimacy always screen-based? Always at an intentional distance? I tell you on the drive back, it stung when I sat. A bruise springs up to meet where you slapped the paddle against my naked ass and the wet white towels laid on the sheets of the hotel room. A neutral territory. Neither your spouse nor my emotional baggage. You get me wet in a desecrated church before we fuck under the blood moon harvest. It felt hotter to fuck here in these bodies. It had never occurred to me that the three of us, not quite women and only occasionally girls, we weren't at the same moment, or at least unable to find our synchronicity in each other's bed. I was struck to return again, falling backward through time, but a womanhood you seem to be running away from, always moving in opposition to my own body. Perhaps one of us was moving more quickly than the others. Or was it all a matter of our movements originating from points so differently positioned that our separate falls, or leaps, as they may have appeared, from another's perspective, only briefly intersected the other's trajectory? Optics without optimism, sight without vision, we were 1,000 contradictory absolutes. Yes, that was the root of so much of our shared tension. I forget to switch the laundry over, and the display reads out, "End." Is it? Is this the pain of watching everything you wanted come to its less than satisfying conclusion? I realize watching you move through our morning errands that I'm no more aware of how they see me than how you might. Can you? Paranoia sets into your body like a sort of psychic knowledge. A dark illumination that seeped across you like the crumpled sheets of paper towel scattered around you as you dragged the brush tip across the page from your pad before dipping it back into the inkwell. You dab the tip against the dry towel, which turns black with all our excesses. As trans girls, we are not allowed to come apart, come undone. Come. For us, we must maintain the illusion, both of womanhood and sanity. Even if we've taken apart our skin, sliced deep into ourselves till we reached the bone and kept going. Even if we watched ourselves heal, our bodies slowly pushing themselves to the surface till the thread pushes out and the suture rejects and the body holds itself together. You press against my scars and let me bleed into your mouth. Let you spit into my mouth. The sex was better after you left. It was as if we could only enjoy ourselves knowing we destroyed whatever we thought we'd be or could be, or just were, in order to fuck like complete strangers each and every time. I knew we were borrowing time when you pulled back from my mouth, as if you could taste all those things bitterness would cause me to say in your absence. You knew my longing was literary more than life, that I was always looking for my next subject, the next character I'd study, knowing they'd saturate the page with lines of frantically written copy. Our acquaintances said you were afraid, scared of how I'd write you. That was the problem. There was too much written into every action, every conversation. I stopped looking for you in language because it was never about what we said before or did in order to convince each other to stay a bit longer. I think in moments like these, where I'm left with my thoughts, or now cold bed and my guilts, I begin to write, as if I can find here the way through what comes next. What if we start over? Haven't we done that? Again and again? You asked me what now? I took a long drag from the cigarette we passed between us. It's already been written, our ending. It's just whether we decide on a rewrite.
Take a few minute break and, have some cookies and hang for a minute and start.
I have a cigarette.
Like, what would you consider? So, not very often I have a smoke.
I know. We're getting few and far between.
Yeah. That's what's her name told you now, Rosie and said. You should. She said something about, oh, you should feel sorry for smokers. You know, you had this funny line now, I can't remember. Oh, wow.
I was on the boat to Cape Town and Paul Giamatti, I don't know if he's an actor, but he was on the boat with me and he was sitting like solidly reading in the corner. And I like walked along the deck to the very back of the boat because I didn't know if I was allowed to smoke. And then just like leaned off the boat smoking, and then when nobody said anything, came and leaned against the bench and he said, I have to say, as an old New Yorker, I love that you're fucking smoking on this. Because I could never have the balls to do this. And that now. I'm gonna go have to.
You hold on a bit.
I recommend a cookie and cheese. I quit smoking.
These are good. Prepare to appear on Facebook.
Okay, if there was a long very much, but I will go on to that, and I am the one and only. Oh, very much. Good in the world. So. Apparently, it's the only one on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm Ann and Charles. I was on Facebook. And
There are other exhibits. Yeah, I was surprised to see that, but. There's one. It was C.
and Charles. Just people. There's another Rick Agron on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook, but people are upset that a real estate agent in Miami doesn't return their friend requests. They don't
People
go-
hearing better?
I was in
I got a
Miami.
text from somebody, but it might be the same person that alerted you.
They don't.
A little bit. The sound should be coming right from the speakers, but
They don't discover.
it could be picking it up pretty well.
Eventually. No cookies, huh?
I didn't really have time to test the audio though, so.
I know,
No.
I tried to listen to an old one
Yeah,
and they couldn't hear, like one that was on YouTube? But that might have been like way back. I don't really know.
yeah.
But I guess if the people are still there, then.
Hi, Kara.
Hey, Al.
I can sort of hear. It's not terrible.
Great. I will try to speak up when I'm there.
All right.
What I really need is some way to plug the audio directly in here, but
Hmm,
I
you
don't
know who's amazing at that stuff?
know.
Marek.
Hmm.
Like,
He seems very skilled
so skilled. Yeah,
for many things.
yeah. And very willing to help, like,
Yeah,
I'm sure they'd be happy to come down and.
Are you from Montague or do you just have a Montague bag?
Oh, I just have a Montague bag from the book mill. Yeah.
My friends in the art group, they're called Exploded View. They do all sorts of things in Montague and Amherst.
Awesome.
It's 5 women. They do. It's a cool installations.
That's awesome.
Like they got the closed bank in downtown Greenfield,
Yeah.
and they made a bee's hive in it. And you would go do the little honey dance. They had the honey dance on the floor.
Uh-huh.
You could go in and like buzz around. So you found a little comb to go in, and then they had combs. You could go in a little comb and write a little something. It
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
And then pin it on the wall, and it made a comb full of ideas. Really
A
interesting.
lot of happy people in there.
Mhm.
So, yeah. I used to live in Brooklyn. I used to go to Northampton a lot and the book mill a lot.
Yeah, my friend Sam used to have it in the paper.
How cool. You're so cute. It's a shame it's like half, like open, half not, like it's kind of run down in a way. That's a cool house.
Trying to transform without gentrifying, which
Yeah,
I think is kind of cool of it.
yeah, it's a cool town. I like it there a lot. That part of that is good.
There's a theater.
Oh, is there?
Theater poetry festival.
Oh, cool.
There's a state back there by the water too.
Wow. Oh, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. I don't. Well, is that the fun?
Yeah.
Put that way.
Poetry, get one now. With reading.
Have you ever been to the Browns room? It's time to get more out there. It's like cool.
And then there's.
I know, it's like, I've never had to go, yeah. It's really great, guy. I've only done a lot of different, I think now it's been maybe fly,
Right.
but.
The possibilities.
Yeah. You right.
I'll give her information. Lovely.
Jordon, have some potential.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I said I earned the cookie. I think you're all set.
How does it feel?
Danielle, I'm not.
Yeah, I've been reading. I read through a couple of times today. Of course, it's always took up in your file.
Well, I mean, did you write on one of those? Oh, you told me not to.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be in the book?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know.
It'll be a version like that. A very length.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so I've been in the studio and making collages and then cutting the poems and sticking it on. So it's a little bit more tongue in cheek in that context. So that's a direction I'm kind of thinking to cut some of the intensity down a bit. Maybe next summer, but I'm also working with Marina, who's been photographing me for the last decade. We did a book called 24/7, which was a very like specific tone because we were doing a residency in a laundromat, and the signs had open 24/7. And this whole kind of meditation of the expectation of certain women's bodies to be accessible 24/7. But that kind of format really worked of like image, nothing. That was great. That's it.
Start again. I really do. If anybody needs to read COVID test, you know.
The only test you want to fail.
There's other ones.
Yeah, there's other ones.
What? Are you gonna introduce the drag? Bingo?
The drain bingo, yes, it's drain bingo. When is that? February
24.
24th. So that'll be a fun event. And I think
Emoji Nightmare is gonna come up. I'll pick the numbers.
be the caller.
Yes, thank you.
Is that what it's called? I used to play a lot of bingo, but I haven't in years. Okay, so. Robyn Joy's first chapbook, Tumbling Through, was published by Budget Press in early 2022, and her work has been featured in various anthologies, including the 2022 and forthcoming 223 Mountain Troubadour, and volumes 33, 4 plus 5 of One Imagined Word at Time Writers for Recovery. Her poems tell personal stories in context of nature, addiction, sexual identity, trauma, chronic, and mental illness. She is founder of Rabbit and Wolf, which currently hosts a monthly poetry reading series at the Front, and she resides in Montpelier with her husband Lloyd and Thomas, their genius cat. She also regularly shares first drafts that are often deleted at random on Instagram at the comma struggle. So welcome, Robyn.
Hi. I'm gonna start with what I wrote this afternoon. It's not even on my Instagram yet. So, this is very exciting. Called The Recipe. Clear your throat to preheat your oven. Combine the dry ingredients deep in your pelvic bowl. Gently hold in your shame, but don't let the wooden expose the hidden rhythm that your body could never keep. Slowly pour the batter over your hips in an even layer to replace the shreds of connective tissue to connect you to anything. Let it bake into your bones until the fracture running from hip to neck feels cemented. This one's called a hairline. I was a blue streaks tornado, scribbling on cocktail napkins and matchbooks, platform boots hitting the ground 4 inches under my feet. I was a bangs and barrettes painter, brushed between teeth, layers of acrylic on arms used as palettes. I was a dyed black wannabe goth punk rock grunge girl, bad skin, head full of lyrics and movie quotes, lunchbox purse, and combat boots. I was a bowl cut with athletic socks pulled up to my knees, couldn't ride a bike or choose my own clothes until middle school when I learned how to shape my legs. I was a frizzy head with a nose ring, wanting to be smaller in all ways, but acting out to find someone to hold my hand. I was a perm with cream puff bangs, pretending that kissing boys wasn't as interesting as they all said it was. I was a wedge cut and low cut, short denim over black tights to make my ass look good. I was pure fun and jokers, bong hits, and keg parties. I was back in black, trying to make my face thin, no food, just party. I was let it go wild, but try to stay tame, running through brambles, swinging from trees. It's fun. This is called Childhood Vignettes. I think Rick's heard almost all of these, except for that first one, because I was exclusive. Childhood vignettes. My fever is high and my father is watching as I bite the glass thermometer and it shatters in my mouth. He picks me up and I am gargling and spitting into the toilet before I understand. He is yelling because I have poisoned myself with mercury, not because I broke the thermometer. I am in the kitchen early in the morning, a small tape deck playing dissonant piano music. My mother keeps saying, shuffle while change, and I know I'm supposed to know what to do next because there's a recital this weekend. I wake up with a cloth-covered wood frame pressed against my nose. My sister remembers this as me sliding under the couch in my sleep and pounding on her kidneys from underneath. I remember this as the first time I felt paralyzed and disconnected and hyperconnected to my body all at once. I am in a bathroom at Little Feet Daycare with Rhea, who is unwinding paper towels into the toilet. I tell her we should go, and she says no, until there is a flood, and we are both in trouble. I am sitting on the brown carpet in the way back of the Buick station wagon. It's raining in a grocery store parking lot, and I am tracing the defrost lines one by one on the window that shatters for no reason onto my outstretched legs, but I am sure it is because I touched it wrong. Untitled Fairy Tale. The beans sprouted from their hands when I emerged from fluids and eggs growing into a stalk I was clinging to until something better emerged from my scalp. And I let down my hair from the top window, but the sting of the feet digging into split ends was too much. And so I grew taller with it while bees buzzed out rhythms and my hips shook my legs open. And what did I have to say for myself? Except that the one that said, this one makes you small, had never worked the way I wanted. So was it really my fault that the rabbit lived in such an old tree? And when the sky really did feel like it was falling, no one believed it, because my wolf had already cried so much it drowned all the sympathy. But then the hunters only said they cut out my heart because they were hungry for a chest to pin the shame on. These go by really quick. I guess I'm short form as well. This is called Waiting for God. It's written after a Tatum Bamber poem. It was taken before I received it, slipping under fingernails, scratching my upholstery. I played hopscotch under my toes, ankles turned in and rolling, never skipping the square with the stone in it. It was etched into my body with sharp metal, wanting to be seen and then believed, but I needed to believe it to see it. I used to swallow it before anyone could see me playing out the trope of reject before you get rejected. I'm fighting with knowing how to be, and I'm fighting with knowing how not to be. My blankets are filthy under the film of disappointment. What lives there? My throat is full of blackberry bushes coughed up from a childhood trapped inside pleural tissue. My heart is a collapsing house of cards balancing on your chest. My legs are hot snakes winding through the dead battery of my emotional junkyard. My pelvis is a warehouse union on strike. My family crawls in the spaces between my teeth. My melancholy baby sleeps in the butter dish, and my fingers tap the temples of the Holy Ghost. My anger crawls across my tongue and swings from my uvula. My wanting never stops wanting, even in the year of dislocations, even in the moment the truth demanded we play by its rules. My wanting never stops wanting. This is one of many I wrote last spring in the throes of a pretty deep mental health crisis. So I wrote every day, which was interesting. I didn't really feel the need to do anything else. Even get out of bed, but I wrote a poem every day. And it's, my crucifixion is self-imposed. I'm here to make amends. Meet the crustaceans who found homes in my spine when I was becoming. Cerebral fluid turned anthills into landslides, dragged me over jutting debris to the bottom of my skull, locked in my jaw. Soft palate hisses the secret of when I touched slivers of glass, embedded them in my fingers, legs chewed open by the desire to be forgiven. Sense of direction. My thumb up next to the park and ride, know I'm going my way. At the riverbank, broken limbs of Beaver Dam asked if I knew how to swim. I climbed a mountain trying to get out and acted like Sisyphus with a boulder full of spit. Emptied each piece of myself into the proper container, peered upward and thought, only the stars can ask me questions. Note to self. This one was in the Poetry Society of Vermont's Mountain Troubadour last year's edition, and it won an award, which I don't remember what the award was, but it was great. Really psyched. Yeah.
She's an award-winning.
I'm an award-winning poet. I would have missed your edition too. That's award-winning. I also don't remember the name of that award. Note to self. You needed eye contact to turn into wanting, conversation into innuendo. Without that, it wasn't clear you were good. And if you weren't good, you felt ugly. And if you felt ugly, you were a chocolate bunny rabbit behind cellophane in a hot pink and yellow box on the drugstore clearance rack. Candy-coated eyes, hollow body, out of season, frozen in fear that you would never be enough, never thin enough, hair the wrong texture and growing in all the wrong places, bad skin, flat-chested, and then look at those tits. Too big, shaped wrong, in the way, always in the way of anyone noticing you, and eventually they would say you were pretty. Eye contact turning into what you believed to be caring, and you could always find a warm body to go home with. It wasn't that you liked sex so much, but you liked that they thought you did, because this made them pay attention, except often you were still that bunny rabbit, sugary eyes, wet and wanting. You were good enough the whole time, my love. And I'm sorry that even if someone told you, you would never hear it. I have two more. When I am hungry. My thighs hang inward after I've starved them, but I still don't have the gap. Stomach too powerful to flatten like the tire of my bicycle when I was 9. When I am hungry, the lambs are no longer born of rams and ewes, but live within my P's and Q's. Until my wet mouth releases saliva and wanting, like the watermelon that gets sticky and then itchy as it dries down my arm in the sun and a memory I don't actually have. The table knife sinks into the moldy rind of my soft cheese abdomen when it is warm, glistening with butter and honey, teeth aching with sweetness, sharp like a spoon to mercury. This is a little guy. Uncomfortable. Comfort is a zone I don't visit very often. Feet stick to hardwood floors in the middle of the night when I'm thirsty for a purge. My spine pops when I turn to listen to the murmurs of the elders. Our blood is cooled and slow and a gorgeous shade of near black. Thank you.
Thank you. Cara Barrero thanks for her connection to poetry as a gift from the universe, and indeed, much of their poetry seems to fall from the sky into their soul. In line with their beliefs around binaries and rules, Cara's poetry may evoke visceral feelings and flow to unexpected places, be they whimsical, tear-filled, or irreverent. Cara is a Montpelier resident, a lover of nature, immersion, and creative projects involving machinery and mud. A mom, community tender, and grandee. And as a curious human, always willing to unlearn, dismantle what they thought they knew. So, welcome.
How's that for sound? Okay. Listen. The snow has a story as it drifts to the forest floor. Listen. Hemlock whispers sweet secrets from her boughs. Listen. I thought the story was complete, yet it had barely begun. This story opens to forever. Be ready. Listen. Have I truly never noticed the softness of an oak leaf, newly fallen, still holding a trace of tree life before October's wind pulls it dry, its touch like velvet or soft as skin, though really only like itself? Have I never completely inhaled these patterns, the intricate veins, the subtleties of color, the life-giving work of this simple yet complex system? My soul holds a deep ache, celebration fused with mourning, as I witness this beauty. And I wonder that my long forgotten grandmother's grandmother surely held this leaf before me, put it to her cheek as I do, felt its softness, heard its story, breathed with it as I do. Now I hold all of this in my hand and notice. So I move a lot. And when I was practicing this at home, I was like walking all over the place and moving. And I don't think I can really do that now. I'm a little fidgety.
You can grab the mic, it's wireless.
I could do that.
Yeah, I'll take the mic with you. Well,
Like a rock star.
Do I look like one? Okay, cool, thanks. This one is called Winter Skin. I walk into woodlands, bundled in layers, wool and down, warding off a deep freeze, whose truth I accept. Trudging uphill, the faint whisper of chickadee wanders through my insulated cocoon. I pause, listen, remove my hood to hear the woods awaken. The song is clear, and close. Suddenly, it is all here. First morning sun of late winter appears over the hillside. Forests of bare branches between us. A still winter landscape alive in its complexity. I walk on, the white layered ground pocked with prints, fallen branches, cones, and sprigs of evergreen. I remove my mitten, warm skin meeting sub-zero air, and pick up a thinner than paper piece of inner birch bark. Tan and smooth, I hold its sleek softness to my cheek, inhaling deeply. I long for its scent, but it's not enough. I want more. I want to possess it, taste the cells that multiplied on a warm spring morning. I unzip the top of my coat, open my shirt, press this piece of summer to the warm flesh of my chest, my heart listening to its story. I walk along, collecting more needles of pine, a beech leaf, a spot of soft pale lichen. I'm greedy, hoarding it all in my meager cleavage, letting these beings of the forest touch my soul as they caress my skin. All winter I have longed for this lover, whose breast I laid my head upon so many a warm night, whose broad back I knew intimately as I massaged it with the rough skin and bones of my feet. She was right here, and I let her go, not completely aware how much I longed for her embrace. Now I bound down the powdery hill, beaming with joy, sliding into abandon. We play together, laughing, and I am grateful this dance has begun again. So this one I wrote after a certain election in November of 2016. The wind has become my ally. My life before now, a study in wind avoidance, a warm wool hood enclosing my head, keeping out the fury, insulation from the storm, seeking always the warmth of fire, the comfort of surrounding trees, as my roots grow deep in the earth. Now, the wind has blown in, a time of unrest, unraveling, shaking foundations, carrying away all that we thought we knew, ashes turn to dust. Now, I let the cold winds of winter whip through my hair, chilling me to my core, leaving me raw, wild, awake, as I peel off layers of complacency. Now, I welcome the wind, as it gives me gifts of strength, clarity, conviction. The wind will not let me sleep, and I welcome the awakening. This one's called, It's Not the Wild That I Fear. When I share a story of setting out into the backcountry, or a hike in darkest night, a friend may ask, aren't you afraid? Of, I question. Coyotes, bears, the dark. No, I answer, it's not the wild that I fear. My fears are rooted in what I know. The dark? Yes. The dark that lurks in hearts and minds. The dark pain that lives in so many of my own species and releases itself in anger and violence. The darkness of hatred and intolerance. Those are my fears. be they in the forest or the streets of my town. It's not the wild that I fear, though it does hold dangers. They are known and somewhat predictable. I can make sense of that. I can be at peace with the risks of the wild. This is my last one, and it's called Thinking of Mary Oliver. You may notice that I'm likely a big fan of Mary Oliver. And this was written, I looked it up today, it was actually just a couple of days after her death in 2019. Misty glow of winter morning, a stillness unimagined, where the sound of ice crystals forming is possible. Tracking thoughts, that elusive dweller of edges, and then letting go, her tracks fading into mystery. At the river, ice, solid, in more colors than I thought ice could embody. And further downstream, flowing with clarity to its cold depths. My heart aches with gratitude and fear for the beauty of this place. Gratitude and fear for this short and fragile life. Gratitude and fear for my children and their children, should they even exist. My heart aches as I hear the ravens call and witness snow collected on wounded perch.
Hi, okay, so that's our program for this evening.
What a
And-
great combination.
Yes,
I loved it all.
and I don't know if anybody has any questions, we can ask them. If not, we can just mingle for a minute over cookies and whatever, and thank you all for coming. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for your help with the tech.
Yeah, we got there, I think. Yeah, drag bingo is February 24th if you want to come in person, and I think we'll have it on Zoom too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good one.
Yep, good night.